So here's this 19-year-old kid in Abbey Studios with a cassette, getting mastered to be cut onto vinyl, telling the sound engineer, "Oh, I need more bass on that, man, need more bass on that." And the engineer being like, "Was this jumped up little shit or whatever?" So, but it's only over the last sort of year of doing interviews and stuff like that that I've remembered that we mastered it at Abbey Road. So I'm fairly proud of that, you know. So we pressed it to 2,000 copies. I borrowed my friend's driving license because I didn't have one. Winnie, remember Winnie, Frankie? She's not even here, is she? Anyway,
Dirty story.
and I hired a car and I drove to every record store in England, selling boxes of this vinyl. And it was being played. There were certain, at that time in '89, there were certain clubs where you had your shit dropped. There was occasions in Sheffield. Obviously there were the Kitchen in Manchester. You know, and we made sure we got the vinyl to these certain places, so then the rumour really spread. And I remember getting to London and getting into Red Records, and Trevor Nelson was serving at the counter, didn't know who he was at the time, and Dave Durrell walked in, and Paul Trouble Anderson walked in as well at the same time, and I had this box of white vinyl, and the Trevor Anderson was putting it on the record, and I go, and these two guys walked in and went, "Shit, that's that record, isn't it? It's like blah, 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 blah. Please, let's have it." That was it. It just flew out, and what the ripple effect that happened, basically we sold 2,000 records in 2 weeks, right? Which was just ridiculous. But on that journey of going to these record stores, I went to a record store called Fon Records in Sheffield. And there was a guy working behind the counter called Steve Beckett, who was thinking about setting up a record label. He took my details, and then I think that was in like August of '89. He took my details, and then got back in touch with us and basically said, "Look, would you like to remix Dexterous and put it out on our label?" Me and Kevin said, "Yeah, why not?" So we went to Sheffield, we remixed it, Rob Gordon engineered it. And basically that was we signed a 1 single deal with Warp Records, and then by November it went to number 75 in the national chart, which was just ridiculous because...
What was that like?
Well, it was ridiculous because success to us was it being played in a club or in a party. That was it, that's all we ever wanted. Do you know what I mean? That was the pinnacle of making a record, was for it to be played by another DJ in a club or in a rave or whatever, you know? So then the 1 single deal became a 3 single deal. And then we'd already demoed Aftermath at that time on this 4-track cassette thing. But now, for the first time ever, we had access to a studio, you know, which was like, wow, you know. So me and Kevin would go to Sheffield like 3 times a week, going into this programming suite, and we made Aftermath. And then the following, so in 1990, I can't remember the month, 1990 we dropped Aftermath, and that went in top 40, which then just blew everything out of the water for us, really. You know, it was quite scary actually, because all of a sudden it was just like, oh, hang on a minute, now people are saying Dexterous went at 75 and Aftermath went at top 40. It's like, now the next thing we do, everybody's going to go, oh, well, it didn't go to this number, and it didn't go, and it just changed everything, really.
And did that affect you?
Definitely, because we never measured it by that. We measured it by the club. It's all about the club and all about the party. It wasn't about charts. You know, at first, the initial thing is like, yeah, this is great, but actually, it's, you know what I mean? It's, to me, it's, even now, it's not really relevant, you know? To me, the relevance is the ripple effect that it connects with people, you know, and that feedback that comes back from people. That's more important than anything, you know? It's not about, the accolades are beautiful, they're great, but they're not a real measurement to me, you know, about what it is that you're doing.
Do you read your own press? Do you read reviews of, have you read reviews of this record?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they get sent to me and stuff like that, you know. I mean, I think the difference with this record is that I've not even asked not really been asked about, well, how's it going, and, you know, I don't think numbers and
How's it going?
Everything's great. But do you know what I mean? It's not like, what I'm saying is that basically your mindset gets changed a little bit when you're being measured by something. You know, as an artist, you know, when you're creating something, it's got nothing to do with that. You know, if you're really being truthful in what you're expressing, it's just about the music. And everything else afterwards is not, you know what I mean? It's just that, definitely me and Kevin felt the pressure when we did an EP called E.A.S.E Funk. And it's probably one of the most underground EPs that we ever did, do you know what I mean? And it was so twisted. I think that's probably because of the amount of acid that Marshall were giving me. It was so twisted that, do you know what I mean? It went completely over people's heads. And obviously it didn't do as well as Aftermath, so then all of a sudden people get on the negative tip about, you know what I mean? So, and it goes like that, and then when we did the album, you know, which...
Did you, just to cut in it, did the record label, did Warp sort of like say to you, look, you know, that one, the Mad Acid one, we want to do an album with you, we don't want it to be as mental as that one?
Never.
Right.
No. I mean, the testament to Warp Records is that they sign an artist, and they sign the artist because of the artist, not, well, we see you as this, so you should make this, or which is what the major label system is based on, you know, is that they see something and then see how it could be something else. I know some people can say, well, yeah, good management can do that, it can see the potential in something and make it into this, but from a musical and artistic point, Warp Records is never really it's never interfered. Do you know what I mean? I think that's why it's successful. Do you know? If you are attracted to somebody's art, then you know, and you want to be involved in that, then you have to appreciate it for what it is and allow it to flower and allow it to develop. It's not like you buy a cheese plant and then want to make it into a nice flower, you know. You know, so it's like that's the testament to Warp to me, you know. But basically, we signed a 1 single deal, became a 3 single deal, then we signed a 1 album deal. So it's me and Kevin, 19 years old, 20 years old, got an album deal, and it was just like there was no such thing as dance albums and all that sort of shit back then. It just, you know, I think that maybe a Dansky might have been like the first, do you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But so what was me and Kevin going to do? We were going to throw everything into this that had ever influenced us. And me and Kevin go back, you know, we would be digging records since we were 10 years old. So, you know, and we both got influences of jazz funk and like old school shit from our brothers and sisters and stuff, do you know what I mean? So it was like, I would both B-boys, come from a hip-hop background, reggae sound systems, do you know what I mean? And then gone through the whole electro, and even like all the early house stuff as well, pre all the Warp stuff, do you know what I mean? So all our influences was basically going to be thrown into this album. So at the time, I was doing these mixtapes that we used to sell at HIP, called A Word of Science.
I remember them.
So we decided that we were going to call the album A Word of Science because we thought this is an experiment. You know, that's what it is. You've got what you're going to do is just an experiment. And it was like, well, when we make this album, there's never going to be another album like it. So we called it A Word of Science, first and final chapter, because that would be it. We're throwing it out there, but it's closed. That's kind of it.
Did you think when you were making it, it was a one shot and then there'd be no more after it, you know, so, you know, was it that focused that...
It wasn't about where we were going. It was like what this whole composition of music would be is an experiment. It's like throwing everything into the melting pot, and whatever it is, do you know what I mean? And I think you can hear that anyway if you listen to that album. I think one of the albums that I was inspired by, which Marshall was definitely a witness to, was a track called Coming Down. He was always around when I was coming down. My best come down, buddy. But that record makes me laugh because the hi-hats sound like typewriters. It's just like so. But the album went completely over people's heads. At the time, it was kind of like, what the f is this? Do you know what I mean? And the years that have passed the amount of people that have come up to me and said, my God, that album, it inspired me to do this, and this. People say that the first form of drum and bass is on there, it inspired James Lavelle to set up more wax. You know, it's like all these, those are the accolades I'm talking about that to me, that resonate with me more, do you know what I mean? As such, you know, not five dancing men and stuff like that. But, you know, yeah, so I mean, like, you know, that kind of, who would have thought we'd have been making albums when we were pressing up 12s off cassette, you know?
Just for the record, and this is a message to Steve, he wants a carriage clock.
I want more than that.
I am really inspired to get you to talk about one of the reasons we're here tonight, which is to raise some dough for a really good cause.
Last night a DJ saved my life.
God, that tune reminds me of you. The toilet first place. Last night a DJ saved my life.
I remember that.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, there's another tune I remember. Do you want me to mention it?
If you want to.
It's electrifying. You better wake up. Didn't I used to call you Olivia Newton-Wrong? So basically what's been happening with the meanwhile, moving on roughly. So basically the last night a DJ Saved My Life Foundation, it was a charity set up by a guy called Johnny Lee, a good friend of ours that lives in Ibiza, 4 years ago I believe. And what it is that Johnny basically realised that like the electronic and dance music industry has so much money flying through it, yeah? And we're all out there partying and you know, pilled up, loved up and all this sort of stuff and that, but you know, is it that just for one night? Do you know what I mean? Or 3 nights for some people. But do you know what I mean? It's like the realisation that there's all this money, yeah, but all this height of love and joy that's happening in these events, that it could be channeled towards something which would help people. Do you know what I mean? You know, so the foundation basically, as of the previous summers, been taking donations off of the guest list. Like We Love is like a very, very strong supporter of that happens at Space on a Sunday. And I think they raised like, this summer, I think they raised like £30,000, right? So basically, what happens is basically it costs £1,500 to build a well and give people clean water. The focus at the moment is in India. Obviously, it's going to go worldwide, but the starting point has been in India. So it's £1,500 to build a well, which then gives these villages clean water for the next 20 years or whatever, you know? It's nothing, do you know what I mean? So what they do is get people to give donations at the club nights and stuff like that.
Let's repeat that. They get people to give donations. Now, those things, they always that rattle, don't they? And they make a bit of a noise. So what I am suggesting is that if it doesn't rattle, it will be full of paper currency.
Well, hopefully.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
That would be good. That would be good. I mean, you know, what we're saying is basically, yeah, it's not the amount, you know, obviously, even if it's 1 pence, it helps. It's really, you know.
But a fiver would be better.
Yeah, but you know, giving is giving at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? And it all adds up. So, you know, we basically, what we've done through vibing with Johnny and through Johnny's, you know, great visions and stuff like that. Basically, with the Feelin Good tour, the whole Nightmares Marc's Feelin Good tour, we've gone into feeling good and doing good. Yeah. So basically, we've taken this on the road with us now, and we are raising the awareness of what this event, of what this charity is, through our concerts and stuff like that.
Right.
And basically, we're the first band to take it on the road. We're kind of like the guinea pig of doing it, and I don't think we'll be the last because it's been super successful on that on that level. You know, it's just amazing the response from people. that want to help and want to get involved and stuff, you know. So, like I say, it's just nice to be able to sort of share what it is, what's going on. It's amazing, like so many people come to events for music, and you know, so many events make so much money, even DJs, you know, and it's just like share, share that, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, so you know, we're kind of flying the beacon of light for clean water for everybody. Because if everybody has clean water, people become self-sufficient, you know.
Oh, look at that. Thank you.
Voila.
That was it. Right, okay, so that was Tris. That was a big denomination sum. That is a proper sum of money. We're gonna send this round. Please, please, please dig deep. This is a freebie event tonight. George didn't ask for a fee.
No. I mean, to be honest with you, if you're not even sure about this, you can look it up on the internet first and do your own research, you know, and then take it from there. You don't have to give tonight. If you give tonight, that's fantastic, but, you know, do your research. Like I said, don't believe the news. So do your own research, find out for yourself, and then see where you can help in any way that you can, you know.
You're doing a gig in Leeds tomorrow, eh? You're bringing the love to Leeds.
Leeds has always got love, man. But yeah, definitely. Tomorrow we're playing in a new venue. I don't really know too much about it. I used to eat there. It's the Belgrade Music Hall that used to be Ike's restaurant. But yeah, we're bringing a full live band. We did a show last night in London. And tomorrow is the first, what can I call it? The last live show of the European tour.
Oh, you go to America next as well?
We leave for the American tour next Wednesday, which goes on for three and a half weeks.
What's it like for you in America? Are you well received?
It's exponential for us in America. It's incredible the way that the response has been out there. You know, they kind of have they seem to be I can say this without sounding. They seem to have caught up on that stuff 7 years sort of after, because I mean I've got a track called You Wish, and it's still the #1 download every month on Warp, and there's been the #1 download in the chill out section of Beatport for the last 2 years.
Steve, he wants a grandfather clock in silver.
So, you know, the way it works in America anyways, as in anywhere, is that the awareness has a ripple effect in the way that people purchase things and stuff, you know, so, and that is definitely growing, you know.
Guys, oh, look at that, I didn't even have to say anything, did I then? It just...
Guys is enough.
Yeah. I said Guiseley. I don't know what it was. Beautiful place. My mate over here who lives in Guiseley. It's nice. Thank you. Are you going to play some tunes tonight?
You know what? I think I'm really, really tired, but yeah, I'm going to play some music. I think we need to have a bit of boogie. I need to see if some people have still got some moves, or whether they're really tired or not.
Okay, let's get that box moving around the room. George, man, it is a total pleasure.